Helicopter. Well, we better get rid of that. Jeez. Hello. We weren't going to fly in the helicopter tonight. There we go. Just doing this and that. Now I can sit down. A little bit of this and a little bit of that. How come that's backward? Oh, weird. Right on. Now, that's a good question. Thank God I had this. All right, here we go. Whew. Fucking hot. It's a hot one down here, everybody. Hey, thanks for showing up. This is Thursday night. I'll put the garbage can down. Thursday, right? Oh, good. All righty. Hello, if anybody's there. I can't see you yet. My eyes are kind of blind from it's a sunny day. Yeah. Hold on, people are calling me here. Yes. Okay, all right. I'm live right now. All righty. I'm going to return momentarily. I'll write y'all a little note here. All righty, there we go. Put all the bikes over there. Hey, man. All right. Hey, if anybody's there, hello. All right. I'm just getting back from. I thought I was ready to go live, and then all of a sudden, life took over. Things were happening all at once, so bear with me. Sorry about that. Tony T. Hey, man, from Toronto. Right on. All right. My favorite band is from Canada. My favorite. I'm an old guy, old Rush fan. So you're in my. I love Toronto. I haven't been there, but lots of BC. I've been in British Columbia a whole bunch because I worked in Alaska. Right on, man. Thanks for coming over. Right on. Good. Yeah, I've got another guy on here like that too. Another Canadian. I can't remember where he's from, and we were talking about Le Studio, one of Rush's old favorite haunts. Right on, man. Well, good to have you over. I'm here. It's just us. It looks like a couple people, and I don't give much notice on these lives just because I'm hanging out here unpacking and stuff. But yeah, and not doing anything special. A cup of coffee because I lived in Colombia, so I always have coffee in the afternoon, which is evening now. So right on. Is it hot up? What's it? Yeah, that's a question for you because it's hot down here. Is it hot in Toronto? You got to be getting close to getting cooling off. I live in Alaska normally. I keep saying that, but it's been a few years now, but it's still fresh in my past. But fall here, I can feel it when fall's coming. I'm like, uh-oh. I'm like a squirrel. I got to start gathering up, getting ready for the winter. I'm sure you feel that when you live in where you live. You guys get some cold weather. Well, I don't know how you found me here, or if you're a cyclist, or you just like camping stuff or outdoor stuff. I'm kind of all of it. Been telling a lot of stories, and just got back from just a small overnighter. I'm out all the time, but I was out on the Sierras all summer, Eastern Sierra, California, Nevada, Death Valley, and just all that area out there. The old West, Well, welcome, whoever's out there. Okay. Right on. Yeah, and you get the fall colors back there and everything. My father lives on the East Coast, so I got to get to Toronto. I got to get in. Where I really want to go is Quebec or Toronto. I want to go to the Laurentian Mountains. I don't know if I'm saying that right? Or the Laurentide. Laurentian is what I think it's called. But it's a lot of glacial, scoured mountain regions out there, all polished. So I'm an old glacier guide, mountaineer. So this channel, if you look back, or if you already have, I have a lot of glacier stuff on here in Alaska before I got on the bike stuff, But that's what I did before the bike. And you'll have to forgive me because I've talked to people on here, but to this day they still haven't. There's a glitch in my browser. I can't save the chat list. So I can't go back and look at who I was talking to other than the people that talk to me all the time. So you look familiar. I don't know if I've talked to you before or not, but also Canadian. That just rings enough. I know I had more than a couple Canadians here. So now I'll remember you for sure because just you and I talking, Sometimes it's, if it gets to be more than 5 people, I'm juggling conversation. I'm not a tasker when I have to talk to people. I can talk by myself, but when I'm having multi conversations, kind of weird. So yeah, one of the things I was glad the last couple of days I took. Man, it's hot. It's still almost too hot to be sitting out here. I could be in the house doing this, but it's just not the same in the house doing a live, But this little ice bag, I've got, I always have this dry bag. It's got this little spout on it that I can drain or even use for a shower. But and I put ice in that thing, but I'll put ice in this thing. And if I'm camping out, I'm not camping at the moment, but I'm glad I had this last 2 days. Even though I was in a motel or like a cheap hotel, it didn't have a refrigerator, so the little ice bag, man, that's key. And I fill this thing up with ice, or I fill this thing up with ice and I just throw it in the sink. Yes, he was. Yeah, I mean, uh, Masked Rider, when he went to Africa a year, like back in the 80s, with a guided group with uh, I've listened to that book over and over, but I've read all his books, and I'm an old drummer from a long time ago. Before I got into climbing, went to Alaska, I was a drummer, and Neil's always kind of been a driving force behind a lot of the stuff that I do, and as far as his writings and stuff. Uh, but yeah, the last Ghost Rider and all his books, all great stuff, man. Love Neil, definitely. My and my cousin is a percussionist to this day, and he was very close friends with a guy named Nick Menza, who knew Neil really well. I never got to meet him or anything, but man, I just loved him very much. And Neil was also a kind of a personal guy, not a real people person. So if I would have met him, he probably would have been just like, but living in Alaska and Denali, my most 40 years, 35 years almost. Um, and then I traveled all over Nepal, India, and places. But I was a guide in Alaska, in the mountains and on rivers. So all throughout those years, I was still a Rush fan and read his books and stuff. So, and I wrote a thin little book. It's really just my handbook, and but I always show it for the glacier. That's my old job out on the ice. So, and I use that as like there's a chapter, or not a chapter, there's 2 pages in here called Balancing Your Load. And some people have been asking me about balancing the load on the bike and how I do that. And then I said, I do it just like a lot of things, like my life, and also like out on the glacier, balancing the load between the sled and myself, like out here, because, I don't want to fall in a crevasse through the snow, trying to spread my surface area. So, yeah. Anyway, throughout all that stuff, Neil, yeah, well, not but one of the driving forces behind a lot of what I do. And I listen to his audio. The Masked Rider is one book I listen to this day on the bike. I've listened to that thing too many times, almost kind of dumb, but I liked it. I liked the book. So, and then as he transitioned into the motorcycle, I'm not a motorcycle rider. But I grew up around them and stuff. So I used to be as younger guy, but I'm around a lot of them, and even being on the bike, I meet a lot of cyclists, motorcyclists. I mean, and they'll camping out, and they're always pretty receptive, and talk to me, and they either think I'm just nuts or they'll talk to me and think it's cool, and then I'll be kind of envious because I'll be tired, and go, man, I wish I could just jump on a motorcycle and they'll cover in, gosh, a half a day what takes me a week, if it's really, really rough terrain or whatever. Well, here's to you, Troy, man. Tony, sorry. God, I can't see very well. Tony T, man. My name is Darin. That's all over. I don't care about sharing my name. Doesn't bother me. My name's Darin on here, and everywhere else. Wow. Well, I'm glad it's just you on here. I don't care to have a big group, so I'm just kind of moving through my motions. If you got any questions, ask me. I'm not sure how you found me, what you were doing. A lot of people find me because of my stories, and then other people find me because of the bike. Some people find me because of the climbing and Alaska stuff. So it's kind of even though it's all outdoors, it's sort of a wide spectrum, So I get all sorts of different questions. But the one thing we do have in common is already we have Neil, and but yeah. So I went down into, the border here where I am right now, still, but further closer. Had some dental work done, and there was really nowhere to camp. I wanted a stealth camp, hide out, and there is just like, and I'm good at that anywhere pretty much, but it's a weird area here. It's like a crossover between, especially south of here, tract homes and then just open desert. So there's no place to hide. So anyway, I had to end up staying in a really kind of a crappy motel last night, and I just, slept in my sleeping bag. I just pull out my sleeping bag, which I'm gonna have to wash now, because it was on a motel bed. Shouldn't be touching it right now, but that's kind of the deal. Is I did that, and then the night before I kind of stealthed it. I just kind of slept where I was. It's kind of like a train stop area. It was easy to crash out. There's a couple other cyclists there too, doing the southern tier. Oh, right on. Those short stories. I don't know if they hurt me or they do me good, but when you say that you found me that way, that helps me say, hey, that did me some good, because my videos. Some get a lot of views, and other ones, are just real marginal to like bad. But if you found me through a short, that's really cool. There's a ton of videos, and I'm pretty honest. I think I'm pretty marginal. And my videos aren't that good, but the ones about my stories and the ones that are like my thing, those are good. I know here comes a jet. I'm right in that like military zone, and also lots of helicopters and border patrol right now because of what's going on with the border. So lots of sky action, And when it gets dark around here, it's pretty interesting because there's no city lights around really. Even though I'm in a kind of a neighborhood here, it's very dark and real quiet. So you don't get a lot of city lights reflection from the sky, and the air quality is not too good, but it's a desert. Right on, you found me because of sight and because of one of the shorts. Right on. Yeah. Now some of the shorts. Most of my shorts that I had been doing were just random shorts from my trips, especially this summer, the High Sierra stuff. And then I started doing the shorts from some of these stories, And so there's a mix of shorts out there. I think I have a lot of them. And I pretty much just go with what I want to do. I haven't been watching my algorithm or anything. I'm just kind of throwing it all out there. Because, there's times when I'm not going to be able to do, like this last week, a lot of live stuff or videos. So I'll do a few videos. I'll do like 2 in a day or 3, and then I'll take off for a couple days and I'll save them up, and I'll do some more of them on the road, getting ready to hit the road again full time. So, but right now, just kind of cleaning up my act, and every week I get like one thing done that's going to be for the winter, because all winter when it starts to get cool, I'll be out of here, and I just gotta go. I have to go further south the colder it gets, so can't really. So doing things like trying to replenish my first aid, kit and stuff. What's the cycling like up there where you are in Toronto? Man, I bet you got so much wilderness like I'm used to in Alaska. There's endless places to go, but different terrain than you have. You've got some really cool. I really want to get back there, and it's different terrain. Trees, different pines. You got a lot of pines and a lot of other various trees and stuff in the lowlands. Very cool. Right on, man. Yeah. So I was. Oh, that's what I was doing earlier. I've been. So I'm going through a lot of. Hey, hello, whoever you are, other person who just showed up. Talking to Tony T here up in Toronto, and another Rush fan like me. And hey, I'm talking about this book right now, Rambling Through the High Sierra. Now I'm I'm south of the Sierra now, but I was there all summer. That's my playground. So this book here, my former father-in-law, who just passed away, left me a bunch of Sierra stuff, and this book is one of them. And this one's cool. Joseph LeConte. Now, John LeConte, I believe that was his son. There, he was a climber in the Eastern Sierra. So lots of cool old Sierra shots in there and stuff. I don't know if you're a Sierra fan, but this is my neck of the woods, High Sierra, and I'm pretty much addicted to it and have been. The problem with me is I was in Alaska, I'm from California, and as a kid I was in the Sierras, the High Sierras all the time, and then I went to Alaska when I was 18, and I missed out on all these summers, down here. So now I'm loving being in the Sierras again, and this book kind of got me back into it. I like to get off the pad or you know, the computer and just read something with, a book with my eyes. And that's been the book lately. Really cool. And this one will not turn into toilet paper, by the way. That's a special book. That's a joke about Nepal, Himalaya stuff, about another book about this size. So we'll talk about Nepal some other time. But anyway, hey, hello, the third person. How are you? Who all's here? We got Tony T here talking to me from Toronto. I'm sitting here having a cup of coffee and finally getting in sort of a groovy mood here, grooving it. I lose subscribers sometimes by getting too groovy, so I won't get too groovy. Here's to you, a little Colombian coffee, and talking about nothing in general. I just got back from a couple days out in the desert. Made a little video about it. It's weird. If you saw it, Tony, I don't know if you saw that or not, but it was just on my way back through what they call the dead zone. And it's just this dirt road pavement along the kind of close to the border. And it's just neighborhoods and crappy, it's just nothing special. But, and it's, they dump things off. There's like a couch and chair and a mattress and all this stuff laying around. So I thought, well, I'll take a rest here because actually I was tired and hot anyway. And I thought, well, I'll check it out and sit here and make a video. But it was so hot, my camera was getting too hot. It's starting to make noises and stuff. See, that was a problem too. This morning I wanted to film. It was just too hot. But later when I got to that rest stop, which is just on the dirt road, following the foothills, down, I'm right on the border of Mexico. And then I said, as I'm standing there, I said, well, I better go because it gets sketchy. It's a cartel area, and they do drug deals and stuff there. But I've heard, just don't worry, keep rolling along, right? And but don't camp there, right? And there's nowhere to camp. That was the problem. I couldn't stealth camp anywhere. So I stayed. If you watch a video, I stayed there for about an hour, maybe 45 minutes, made the video, and left. But I think I said it in the video. I go, well, I better go because this area is kind of bad. And I took off, and right where it turns to pavement, there's like a neighborhood, but lots of, they look like okay houses, but they're not. And then there's the desert, and this guy drives by. Now the truck doesn't look bad in the video. I couldn't get a shot of his face, but he was definitely tweaked. He was on stuff, and he's looking at me and pale and looked sick. And I'm like, oh, I said, hey, how you doing? I go, okay, we're going to get the hell out of here now. And I left. And then he turned around, and it's in the video, and I wish I had better footage, but you can see it. He turned around behind me and pulled over. But I think he was just pulling over to do drugs up there or wait for somebody to get some, do a deal. It's a dope transaction place. So I was just there when he was showing up, probably to park and wait to get whatever, sell something. And that's in that video. Nothing special. It's just like another day cruising around the desert here, and there's so much going on that you can't really just, pay attention to everything. You got to cruise through it. So today that actually wasn't too bad. I just saw the guy go, oh, here we go. In the video, you'll notice I'm not stressed out. I go, oh, here we go again. I better get the heck out of here. I said hell, actually. So, yeah, anyway, hey, just, hey, number 4 person. How are you this evening? Thanks for showing up, man. We're just rapping with Tony T here from Toronto and the other 2 people that haven't introduced themselves yet. Hey, give a like there if you're watching and if you feel like liking. otherwise, kick back, subscribe if you haven't already. And hey, I've been banking up videos because I'm moving around so much. And I post a couple a day and probably too many, but I want to keep up on those before I start moving along. And I'll have some stuff to. This trip, I filmed a few things. Now, the biggest problem on this trip was I got this is nothing, 2 water bottles stolen and my other helmet, my blue helmet. And so, yeah, anyway, lost a helmet, 2 water bottles at a store, and then one at the room. So, and then the other thing is don't ever buy these Rock Bro products. Sorry, Rock Bros. They're everything I bought from Rock Bros is breaking on me on this trip, and it's just like a cheap. You're cheaping out. But there's a couple little things they make, like my balaclava and all that. But this thing broke, and it's plastic. I knew that I was buying some cheap thing. So when somebody stole my water bottle, they broke that. Anyway, the other thing about Rock Bros is this: these are old. I don't use them anymore. I use my Ortliebs. I have 2 sets of Ortliebs. One in South America, Colombia, Medellin, and then I bought these by mistake. But sometimes you don't have a lot of money. You just get what you got to get, man. So that's what I did with these, and they held a lot of stuff, but they broke. There's that hat I'm looking for. Anyway, so cheap. Excuse me, cheapo. Like if you're gonna buy these, Tony T or any the other one of you now, they just don't hold up very well, and this is really cool. I could put my coat in it, and stuff, but then it ripped off of there real like one trip, So back to the Ortliebs. Those Rock Bros were just something I bought sort of last minute when I was transforming this rock hopper into sort of a touring vessel, and when I got this thing fixed up for touring, just because I wasn't planning on doing a tour. I was back here from Colombia, and left my bike down there, and I didn't have a bike. And so, put the seat on there, and then the bags and the racks and all that, and then new heavy duty rear end, all that kind of stuff, hub, some extra spokes, which I was going to talk about when a few other people show up if they're interested. But I had a problem with, these Weinman. I don't know if you've used those or heard of them. They're kind of middle of the road. I noticed a crack in my other one. So recently I had to get this one here just because it was like Amazon. I could get it overnight, right? And that's kind of what I went with. It's holding up pretty good. I went with the 40 spokes instead of the 36 spokes. So anyway, all right. So I'm just going to finish. I'm just showing you those definitely not. Now, here's kind of a cool thing. What I did, with this, what I did with this old Rock Bros is I kept it. Now I have another one too that's in pretty good shape, and I had the set, right? Here's our little friend here coming over to visit us. Hey, get out of there. Hey, Lulu. Come here. Lulu. Get out of there. There's a little dog over here getting in the bushes. Anyway, so I kept the other one and this one, and I would use it for like a trunk bag in case one of my panniers broke. I haven't done that yet, but instead of my trunk bag, maybe I thought of this and just stuffing this full and using that trunk bag. And then if a pannier had a problem, but I like my trunk bag so far, and my stepdad got it for me, and it really works out great. So I'm using this is just a backup thing, but Rock Bros, no. But if I have that, I'd show you some of the stuff that, some of their clothing stuff is okay if it's just like gloves and balaclava and things like that. So. Hey, give me 1 second here. I gotta grab something. in the dirt. All right. So anyway, no rock roads for me. Sorry, Tony T and whoever else is there, man. I feel bad. I'm leaving all the time. Um, Great shower bag. This thing worked out. On this trip, I just stopped and filled it up with cold water, and I hung that. Now all this is a dry bag, but it's not even that. It's for pumping up your air mattress. I don't have the air mattress anymore, so it's the ice bag, shower bag, dry bag, whatever. It's too good to throw away, right? And it's got this little spout, which I have a little shower nozzle for. And I just fill this thing up with water or ice, and I just hang it up in a tree and just take a quick shower. I've got got a carabiner, piece of webbing, throw it over there. All right. So definitely, and like I said, that ice bag saved me the last couple days, man. Filling up with ice. And hey, number 4. Hello, how are you? I understand if we're not talking about something you like, but we are talking about just bicycle stuff. And it's just number 2 now here. Maybe not. It's hard to tell who shows up. Give a thumbs up if you haven't heard us talking. That's the only way I can, if you're just showing up, then I don't repeat myself. Because Tony T probably get tired of hearing me talk about the same thing over and over. That's what's nice, just having a couple people to talk to. Now, if there's 10 or 20, that's fine. Then I end up just starting to ramble on. We're doing the Tectonic ramble. Right on. Thanks, Tony. I guess I'll put the book away for now. But hey, nice to read a book instead of looking at my pad and my computer, man. It's like and editing all the time and all my fantastic videos everybody's missing out on. Some of you are watching though. Hey, thanks, man. If you haven't heard, I'm just doing it for fun, but also doing it serious because I'm taking along the cameras now on my trips rather than just being lazy about filming. And I'm in amazing places, South America, Colombia. I really blew it the last few years. I blew it for the last 10 years, all the adventures and all the things I missed on camera. But you know what? They're still coming. That's why I try to stay healthy. So I can, next time I get beat up or rolled somewhere in South America, I can live through. Hopefully that doesn't happen. We'll try to avoid the all that. My face can only take so much more. I'm getting too old for those kind of experiences. But that's what happens when you're in an area for a year, and that's what happened to me. I was there for a year, South America, and just I got to have all the good and all the bad, So it's okay. And most of you, if you've watched the video, just heard all the bad stuff. A lot of good stuff, and like I said, there peaks and valleys, the whole thing. But yeah, South America, great chapter in my life, and biking around there. I shouldn't touch this crusty old sleeping bag. It's been on a hotel bed last night, so I won't touch. Sorry, Tony, I already heard that one. South America, love it. Love traveling around South America. It's easier than traveling around here. I'm going to be honest with you. If I know Tony and there's somebody else, but it's easier for me in South America. Let's say, for instance, that's kind of broad, but Medellin, just outside of Medellin or places like that, than it is here. This is tough travel. It's a lot of crime, a different kind of crime though, a lot more meth and fentanyl and things like that. Whereas down there, it's always been the cocaine cartels, and just crime in general. But it's just a fully different deal. It's a different feel. So I've learned to navigate my way through both of them, but these last 2 nights were harder than South America for me. Harder than Colombia. And it's just the border of California. Who would have thought that, But now these neighborhoods I'm in right here, they're all okay. But this morning where I was coming through where it was turning. It's like a dirt road and pavement, both. Mosquitoes all over here. It's just sketchy. You got desert here and people crossing the border, and then you got neighborhoods right here, people living their life. So there's sort of this fine line there. And people like me just sort of like weaving their way through all the chaos and weird, and you either see something or you don't. And a lot of coyotes, man. Oh man, that's the thing I haven't talked about down here. The coyotes, yeah, they are crazy, man. Now I've seen some from a distance, but at night you hear them, and that's another reason I was kind of glad I wasn't camping last night, because the coyotes are nuts. Also, out here in these hills, every tree you look under is a person. Especially now, this time of night, everybody's hunkering down, right? It's going to get dark soon, so everybody's starting to find their little spots, where they're going to sleep, and you got the drug addicts, and you guys got the regular homeless people that don't have a place to go. So you've got a really wide, variety of people sleeping out in these hills and trees. So after 7 o'clock, after it's like, okay, it's dark now, it's weird, and so yeah, all the riffraff comes out. I don't know. Maybe you've lived in a place like that. I'll bet downtown Toronto has places like that. It's just like at night, that's when it's okay to come out. And then but it's like the circus, but it's circus in the wilderness. It's pretty weird. Right on. So I got my new T-shirt on, Indo Jacks Surf Charity. That's what my folks, they organize a surf charity for autistic kids. So I got my new shirt, and they just got back from that, and they're in their 80s. They don't surf. They just organize the charity, and that's it. And they help with all the kids in the water and things like that. So it's pretty cool. All right, man. So if you have any questions, I'm open. There's only 3 of you here. I can handle 3 here talking, and it's when I get up to 20 questions that I don't get so good. But welcome. And if you have any questions, let me know. I'm still just cleaning up from my little 2 nights out. I'm always out if you haven't been here before, but I'm either like base camp here like I am right now, somewhere where I have a shower, or the last 2 nights where I went down to get some work done on my teeth, and it was like on the border of Mexico where all the cheap dental work gets done. And man, sketchy. I could drive down there and rent a car or whatever I could do, but you know what? I don't want to do that. I want to bike it. And that's just how I live. I don't rent cars, and I don't even drive. Most of the time I'm in another country, so I'm definitely not driving in another country, especially Colombia, where I live the other part of the time. So yeah, so I did replenish a few things. I got my first aid kit kind of put back together, things like that. Looking good here, man. What time is it back there? Oh, see, it's got to be getting close to 10 o'clock in Toronto, huh? I have another subscriber who gets on. Yeah, oh yeah. Definitely. All the time. Colombia. Now, let me tell you, Colombia is the bike country. South America is a bicycle country. The whole South America, all Latin America is bicycle. Colombia, though, lots of road bikes racing, and a lot of people coming through touring, a lot of hills and mountains, and you're in the Andes. I was in the Andes, outside of Medellin, at about 9,000 feet, and lots of cyclists, cycle shops everywhere. It's pretty cool. I would say Colombia is in the top, and there's outside of Bogota and Medellin, 2 of the longest hill climbs in the world, and I got to do the one outside of Medellin, and I actually lived up there. 1030, okay. Yeah, I thought it was around there. I couldn't tell even what. I don't even know what it is here. I can't see my clock on here right now. And this thing just quit working. So we're gonna take this thing off. Epic couple days, and then I knocked this thing, broke it, and I thought I broke my camera too. So I'm just knocking things around like a madman. I have to have two of everything. So yeah, other cyclists, man, so many. The thing about Colombia is it gets a bad rap, but you know, for a good reason. There's a lot of danger to Colombia, but a lot of people cycle through, just they don't have any problem. Cyclists usually don't have any issues. It's if you live there like me and you're in the bad neighborhood, you got to go there for some stupid reason, or you just did it on purpose for the wrong reasons, and that's how you get in trouble in Colombia, or it's a fluke. And so women rarely get messed with. I mean, that's taboo to mess with a woman, as far as like a tourist, especially if you mess with a tourist in a Colombian neighborhood and you get caught like a Colombian, you're Colombian, and they'll just roll you and sometimes even kill them, you know. So you don't usually met, but the stupid tourist, and I've made stupid mistakes. That's when things happen in Colombia. So cycling, I would say no, you're good to go if you're cycling through there, and people kind of respect that, and it's the people that go to Colombia. Like many of them come from like Miami with all the bling bling, and a party, get the women and all this kind of thing, and just party. That's where trouble happens all the time. So, and my trouble didn't even happen in that zone. My zone was just my personal zone where my trouble happened. So, but a lot of guys and gals get in trouble coming down to party into Colombia. So, stay out of those zones. Stay out of the bad areas. I mean, you learn where to go, and you also do your research before you go. But bicycling, man, I love it. Love Colombia for bicycling. Ecuador, Peru, and you can pick your way through. Like you learn, okay, this is not. You start looking with other, networking with other cyclists like me or people that know more than me, many, and then they say, hey, take a bus from say this section, or that's a try to jump a certain section. So, and I do that a lot. So I like to do that. Uh, Here, in the States, like Amtrak and stuff, but there's no choices. Like if you don't have a car, it's hard to be like I am in other countries. Just jump a train, jump a bus, hire somebody, to take, throw them some pesos, to take you. In America, it's like you can't take a bus, a Greyhound, God forbid, and Amtrak is kind of a pain in the ass. So it's like there are no good choices, and so if you don't own a car like me, it's easier to live in another country or be traveling or whatever in another country, especially South America, where I could take a couple pesos and find the right person, or and just get 500 miles or 200 miles, or jump a section I can't. Let's say 60 miles. That's more reasonable. But if you have to jump a bus and do a 500-mile section or something, you can get it done fast. And not here. And you wouldn't want to take a Greyhound bus. I'm in America, and you're in Toronto, Tony. I don't know what kind of what the bus service is like up there. Hey, that's a good question, because I was gonna do, a video on Greyhound buses here in America, and that's the only choice for buses. And I mean, there's like these offshoots, that are just just as bad, if not worse. But yeah, Greyhound used to be like, hey, I can get a Greyhound, and back in the day, it might be a little weird, some. And for me as a kid, it was a little weird. I took a Greyhound when I was 15, and some like 40-year-old lady tried to kiss me and stuff, and I was like, whoa, what the hell, man? And so stuff like that happens. But now it's like somebody who's smoking crack or meth on the bus. And so I took a Greyhound bus 2 years ago from, let's see, I took it from Ashland, Oregon to all the way to, I took it all the way to Riverside, California. It took like all day and a little bit more. It took like 24 hours, and I got abandoned by the bus at one point. I had to get another bus ticket. They wouldn't take my bike. They don't take bikes anymore. It's just a pain in the ass here. Pain in the royal ass. If you work for Greyhound and you're watching me, shame on you. They treat people horrible, and I hope you don't subscribe. Yeah, those people are the worst in transportation. They treat people horrible. I saw them dump off young girls in LA, and they were like, "Don't dump me off here. It's midnight. I didn't ask. I thought there was a bus station. There's no bus station. Come on." Hey, man, you ever watch that Rush video, Dinner with Rush? If you're a Rush fan, it's pretty good. They don't do any, I love the videos and stuff, the music, but I like to watch them talk once in a while. That's the only one I really like or listen to, some of their interviews, but that's a good one. They're sitting having dinner in Santa Barbara, California, just right up the way here. They're at a hunting lodge restaurant or something. Anyhow, man. Isn't that great? That is a classic. I've watched it too many times probably because I just love the humor, but it was very funny. I hope every Rush fan has seen that, and I'm sure they have, or most of them. But the humor is great. I've seen Rush more times than I can count. But the best show I ever saw was Presto, and it was in Oakland, California, at the Oakland Coliseum, indoor Coliseum. And it was still in concerts were really cool, and I don't know how old you are, but it was just a different thing than it is now. So, totally changed now. This was in the 80s, late 80s, I think. Hey, hello, number third person. What's behind screen number 3? How are you? And we're just rapping here. It's just me and Tony T and somebody else listening to us. Rapping away here next to the bicycle, having a cup of coffee and cleaning up my show from the desert. And give a like there if you're just popping in listening. And it's funny when I do these lives. Sometimes there's quite a few people, and they kind of it's like I guess it is a chat room, isn't it? People just kind of peek in, they open the door and go, "Hey, who's in here?" Oh, there's that guy, and then they shut the door. Hey, who's in here? And then they shut. Oh God, not that guy again. Boom. That's okay. That's what it's all about, having choices, And they always say, or I always said, if you don't like, just life is bad, just think what's through that next door, So, keep opening doors and all that, because it's true. That's how I did this YouTube thing. Wasn't just a on purpose thing. It was very much on accident. So, welcome to my accident show, and welcome to all the accidents to come. Hopefully not too many and too epic and all that. Hey, the other thing is I hate rain pants, but I'm glad I got these, man. These things, Frog Togs. I have rain pants, and I have really good ones, and I just rip them up all the time. I go through so many. Okay, so this is summer number 1, and it rained on me in the beginning, and also I was crossing some cold creeks, and I wore them, and you can just throw them on over your shoes, see, because they're real wide, and people are like, oh, that's horrible on a bike, Well, I got my bands, and also it does have this Velcro thing at the bottom, which I don't count on too much, but definitely, because I go through a lot of pants. This is probably like two of, and I'm spending like $100 a pair. Excuse me, but I'm a lot of bushwhacking and stuff like that. So these are really, they're almost like Cordura. I don't know what they're made of, but they're real rough. So going through the bushes, not even a scratch on. So no side zips, which is fine with me now. I don't care because they go right over my shoes. And I'm big. Yeah, I'm an old mountaineer, and this is a big deal to me. anything like that to me is a huge, huge deal. And so another thing is it's going to start getting cold at night. So I went into, I'm definitely, I spent so many years like, I don't want any hoodies, no more hoodies, you know. And now that I'm cycling, I like hoodies, but I don't want a hoodie that's going to catch a lot of wind, and even you cinch it down, you have to cinch it down real tight around your neck just to keep the wind from blowing it up like a balloon like that. And so I got this one here, and it cinches up. It's North Face, cinches up real nicely. You don't have to cinch it up, is what I'm saying. You just do this, zip it up. I'm not putting it on now on 80 degrees, but it's just perfect and no cinching. There's not even a strap there. So for me, that's like a perfect cyclist, or just whatever, even backpacking, or whatever you're doing. But check it out. No, let's just, I'm not a good merch seller, am I? But check it out. Yeah, no, perfect for me. Now I have another one that's made for cycling. This one's not specifically for cycling, but I pick them out. I'm like, I want something that's got a tighter hood, right? And so it's not blowing out like a big balloon, man. It drives me freaking nuts. So I got this one. Even tried it out in the morning when it was chilly, and really liked it. So hey, yeah, man, and thank God for that ice bag there. And I got Central Command going on here. Boy, I'm running out of coffee. Hey, number 5, how are you, man? So we're just sitting here rapping away once again. Tectonic. Had a couple days in the desert. Give me a like if you're new here. I know you're watching me, and you don't have to like. You can make a comment like, "Hey, I'm watching. Keep talking," or ask a question. And then Tony T, doesn't have to hear the same thing over and over again. And we were talking about don't cheap out, man. Ask me questions about if you're just starting touring about bags. Now, if you have to cheap out, you can tell I did, right? Because I have these. So I had to cheap out to learn to tell you, try not to. But anyway, Rock Bros. Now, what's cool about them is look at these things on the bottom. Those are kind of, I don't know, they're not necessary. They're like little feet, But these things just start ripping apart. Not the bag itself, but it's this exterior stuff, So Tony, man, I don't know. Do you have any bags? try to get Ortlieb. And what I recommend is if you can just get one bag at a time, don't get the Rock Bros. There's some better deals now, I think. But I was kind of desperate at the time, and I would say if you're just starting out and you don't have a lot of money, yeah, get a couple of them and then just build up from there. I was just telling you the experience that you'll have, and the first thing that'll give on them is just basically, the latches, the pull-up latches that are supposed to work. Man, I'm nuts hard on those things. I've had 2 sets. Hey, listen to the party in the neighborhood. And that's what I love about down in close to Mexico is everybody has a good time, listens to music and stuff. And the people barbecuing outside. But these Bomber, I've got the other ones in Colombia, and I've never had these break. And, they come with the new set. And I have them in the repair kit, but I just never use them. I've never had to repair them. So Ortlieb, man. Waiting for my new pedals to show up any day now. I was kind of crappy yesterday. I had to go through some puddles. Now, what's weird is it's all dry, and I go through this area out in the desert, and it's got these puddles. I'm like, where's the water coming from? And it smelled like sewage. And I was like, am I going through sewage? So I tried to be real mellow, go around it and go through, and then it just came out of nowhere. It's like in this big desert area. So maybe I've been poisoned or something, but I don't think so. I instantaneously jumped in the shower and, disinfected the bike. There was, the cool thing about down here is a lot of car washes, even in Mexico. Car washes there. Everybody washes their cars, and everybody keeps their cars, tries to keep their cars really clean, even though it's dusty and dirty. So that's pretty funny. I kind of like that. I can wash my bike, and I like washing it at a car wash carefully, But yeah, some other little things that. So waiting for the new pedals, and I loving these little Sea to Summit bags, little waterproof Sea to Summit bags are badass. So yeah, the lots of border patrol that way up the road. A lot of activity going on, but they seem to leave me alone now. The first couple days I was out, it was kind of weird. I was like, well, they. I don't know if you watched the video. There's a video about me about a few weeks back where I got carded by being out in public without I got in trouble for not having my ID out in public. And they were doing a big roundup just around the block here. And they were like, hey, what are you doing? And what's your name? Oh, you got any ID? And I'm like, yeah, but, I live here. I'm a U.S. citizen and blah, blah, blah. You got to have your ID with you all the time. So learned a lesson there. And yeah, if you ever do, start small. It's fun. Somebody else on here was just the last time I did a live was starting out. I hope he comes back on. And he was getting ready. He may be doing it right now. He's back in Ohio, and he was going to do his first one. And I think he had the back bags, and he said, "Is that enough?" And he had his tent. And I said, and he was getting a campsite at a state park in Ohio. And I wonder how he's doing. Maybe he'll pop on. And just as you said that, he popped into my mind. I always like to hear how everybody's doing on their first trips and stuff, because I get a little tired about of talking about my trips and my stuff. It's like, hey, what's everybody else doing? Because I know you're doing something. It doesn't have to be bicycling. The bicycle thing is new in the last, fairly new. It's 10 years, but serious last 5 years. So, and I had done some tours before that, but now I've transitioned to full-time bicycle life. Staying here and there, and then hopefully buying land and not staying there very much pretty soon here on the Eastern Sierra. So, but that'll be base camp, and I probably won't be there very much until I get to a point where I have to be, or I'm in South America where I have good health care and I end up maybe staying there the rest of my life. I'm not sure. Just not sure. My daughters are growing up and they live here in California, and they like it. And so everybody, each generation looks at it all differently. I love my country. I love all the places to bicycle and hike and everything. And I'm a true, American. I love it here. But I also like South America too. So kind of like just half and half, that a balance. I'm a Libra. Maybe that comes from, even though I don't really, I never use that, whatever that now metaphor, or I'm a Libra, but maybe that is. I like a little balance of that. Same with people too. I like people, but I like people in small doses. So I like to be out. My favorite thing is, I like to be out on the road and be by myself and meditating on the bike and being by yourself, And also I like being with other people for a little while on the bike, talking and, hey, blah, blah, blah. Either you know them or you don't. You're learning about them. And then you don't see them. Sorry about the helicopter. You don't see them. And then maybe you see them camping at night. Because if you're on a route, like a specific, say you're on the Pacific Coast route, Washington, Oregon, California, starting in Vancouver all the way down to San Diego, and you're traveling down that route, you're going to see the same people a lot. But unless like you just stop for a while, if you stop for 2, 3, 4 days, then those people moved on, or vice versa. You moved on, they stopped. There's that. They stopped, and then and there you go. It's like karate chop my. Anyway, so you overlap people when you're traveling, and then see them at night. See them, hey, there they are having lunch. Stop, have a cup of coffee, whatever. That's the great thing about some routes. In other routes, you won't see people for a long time. And then it's cool because you see people again if you want to. And it's like, hey, all right, this is cool to be around people again for a day or two. That's how I am. But I don't want to be around it. And plus, I don't want to be around it all the time. And that's because I was a guide in Alaska with lots of people. And I have to have, I have a group of people I'm always talking to, and I'm worried about, their issues all the time. And they're giving me things to do. So I got a little burnout on being a guide and said, hey, man, I want to do this on my own and go out and do it on my own. So that's kind of how it started. And plus, my children were all grown up, and hey, what else is there to do? So I like it, and I still like to climb, and getting ready to go back on another big expedition next year. So everything's all, unless I'm not here for some reason, something happens, or maybe a loved one or a friend needs my help, then I'll be doing these things. But there's always that chance things change, and but you got to have a plan and a strategy and be flexible. That's how I do it. And most of the time, everything kind of falls in place these days because I'm not stressed about it too much. There's just not time to stress about it. I have a little checkbook I write for all the energy I have. I can't remember. It wasn't some book I read for that, but I thought it was a great way to go about it. I have an energy checkbook. Here, you can have one, and that's all I got for today. Unless it's a loved one or somebody that really needs my attention and my energy and help. Yeah, I only have so many checks to give out, and so anyway, sounds kind of selfish, but that's just the way it is now. If it's somebody on the street needs my help, like my book, I've given this book away. Look how thin it is. People will say, "Boy, that must not be very interesting. Look how thin it is." And well, you'd be surprised, and it'd take a long time to read. If you're somebody who reads and likes to poke the edges of the world a little bit, then the book would take a long time to read because you would take your time and know that it's worth taking your time. And it's not a book about me or anyone else. It's just a book. It's my handbook about how to get through each little challenge, and that's why it's called navigating the obstacles through the new times, or all these weird new times you know that were all set up for us. But this is a good way for me to deal with it. And I use this book. I got really upset. I was like, man, uh I wasn't doing well. This was on this last trip, not this one, but the Sierra one. And I was kind of in an angry situation for myself. And I was like, holy cow, what am I doing? I've been preaching about my book. Not really, but I've been talking about it. And I don't like market my book very much. But this is a time for me to tell you that's what happened. Is I was like, I picked up my own book, and it was like, got me through. I just read one page, and I hate reading a book that I got to read a whole chapter to really get what's going on. This is 2 pages per point, and and like I told you, balancing your load, and also the good one in here is storms and bad weather, how to weather out the crappy stuff. And so that's kind of that's what I did. I was like, hey, I'm taking out my book, man. This is really cool, and it helped. So right on. I love talking about it, but I'm fearful sometimes of talking about it because I don't want to be like, hey, I'm Tectonic Traveler, and please buy my book. Buy my book, or just listen to my videos. My videos, I talk about it all the time. You don't even have to read the book, but it is the book. If somebody's interested in me in my past, they'll look in the videos and find out everything that's in the book. So that's kind of how I put it. All other 2 of you, other than Tony, that are listening. And hey, I'm surprised we haven't had Bardio Mio on tonight. He's my music master guy. And who else? There's a whole bunch of people. Apache, I haven't seen in a while. He's a guy he's on the East Coast. A lot of people are in other countries or on the East Coast. So I kind of lose out. Hey, Tony T, I know it's getting late for you, but I'm going to take 5, maybe less, not more. And I'm going to run inside and grab a little more Colombian coffee. Then I'm going to come back out since it's not quite dark yet, chat a little bit more, and I'll be right back, man. And if you have to go, totally get it. And I love you for coming over here. Whoever you are out there watching, we're just kicking back and rambling on. It's like that old Led Zeppelin song, you know? All right. All right, here I am again. Okay. Hey, there's still 4 people there. How are you? Hey, man, sorry I had to leave. It's going to start getting dark. What happens with the camera here starts getting brighter as it gets darker. It balances the light and stuff. And then I can do all this fancy hand work for you. Hey, now I got here and 2 people left. Cool. Sorry about that. I scared you away. They were waiting. They just came in. They opened the door and were waiting. They went, oh no! Oh man. Oh well. What happens is, well, I already went through that. So I should probably put some of this. What happens is sometimes it'll get dark and I'm out here talking, and I'll forget to put all this stuff away. So I'm just gonna throw a few things in here in this rock bro. So yeah, man, if there's any questions, I'm sitting here rapping with Tony T. Hey, I broke a rim, and I don't recommend. Well, you know, I had to buy another one because it's all they had. The Weinman right behind me here. See those right there? I had to get another one, 40 spokes, but I had a 36 spokes and just broke it because I carry a lot of weight. And so put this other one on, and you know, I should spend a little more money on a better one. It's kind of a mid-range one, and I've had them before, and they did pretty well. But that one didn't last long. So I'm showing you a lot of things here tonight that I cheaped out on. And yeah, I think we'll wait on the sleeping bag, right? You're going to wash that one. So, right on, man. So another wonderful evening in paradise here. If you just came on, give me a like. I've only got 2 likes there. There's a lot of people just watching and not liking. So, but I love you anyway for just looking. Was that what's that old saying? Probably not something I should say on YouTube, but it's all right. Hey man, these are cool. Just got one of these for free in the mail. It's a it's a straw. It's a water filter straw. Haven't even used it yet. I have a real water filter, but I thought I'd take that and check it out. The local bike shop guys they actually were sending me some stuff I ordered and threw that in there for me. Big time Tectonic guy, man. Gets a free, man. I'm telling you, I'm moving up free water filter, and hey, I got a free hat and a sleeping bag too from a Chinese company, and a pair of binoculars. And then I was getting high views for a couple weeks, and it just railed subscribers and went up from like 46 subscribers to 600 and 700, 800 now. And I got these weird, if you ever are like me and you've got like this many subscribers, you'll start getting these scams and cheap offers where, so that was a cheap offer, and a couple other scams where they wanted me to, like pay something and then get something big for free. And I was like, because they're watch your views and how you're moving up. And even though I'm not a big YouTuber, it was enough for them to notify. And I got these other ones where it looks like it's YouTube contacting me, and it'll say, hey, you're really moving up there. Let's help you with that SEO. And I'm like, oh, it's YouTube telling me everything. Ah, man, I'm moving up. And it's not even YouTube. It's like somebody that knows. It's a company that wants to, like, help me with my SEO and all this kind of stuff. So it's a total scam. But here I am, like a totally ignorant YouTuber and learning a lot in the last month. And so I'm thinking I'm getting big time, and then no, I'm just getting scammed. Hey, but I did get that free sleeping bag that I put on that nasty bed in that hotel room in down near Calexico. Scams everywhere. Better keep your head. Hey, Balancing Bike Life. Hey, man, how are you? I missed you. I think I was talking about you in the last live stream. I said, well, we haven't had Bardio Mio or Balancing Bike Life and Apache, some of my regulars. Tony T here has been talking to me, and Balancing Bike Life. Tony T is one of my first people that I ever talked to on here. And so I remember, like, the first, not that I'm some big YouTuber, but it is kind of confusing. It's like, I don't really, remember everybody. It only takes 5 people to confuse me. So, yeah. Oh, it went good. So basically just had a cleaning and x-rays and everything. And what they're going to do to put the base in for there's going to be 6 points for I call them snap in, but they're permanent. They're not false teeth. And so I'm just going in the early stages of it, and seeing about any bone graft I need done. Minimal, maybe a little bit over here, or which side am I pointing at? Over here, yeah. But yeah, so I'm probably going to have most of it done in Colombia, but if not, this company actually is really good because they work with other people and their network. So if you're going to have it done somewhere else, they want to know where and who it may be, and everybody has to work together. So I'm kind of going through this weird first part of it, and but yeah, it went good. And just what I thought would be kind of a cool. Sorry, I'm listening to the dog out there. Now I'm totally new to this area, Southern California, and then close to the border here. And so I thought, wow, it's going to be cool to go down there. And it wasn't that fun. It wasn't that fun at all. It's not scenic, just desert and housing tracks, and food trucks, and lots of, just, I don't know. I thought it would. And it's funny, you get there down to the border, and it's just like it is here. It's like only 30 miles from here. But so once I get south, everybody tells me once I get south, like, really far south, like a few hundred miles down into Mexico on my trip this fall, then things start changing and it doesn't look so much like California. Yeah, man, it sucks. Watch that video. I don't know if Balancing Bike Life, I posted a video today of biking through that little zone there where it comes back. There's like pavement and then dirt road, pavement all along these foothills right on the border. And it's funny because I wasn't stressed out that much until I was making that video today, and then this guy pulled up, and it said, you're in a cartel area, right? And I was near all these all this junk and stuff. And I thought, I'll just make a video here. And sure enough, here comes this truck. And this guy pulls up, and I thought, I'm out of here. Yeah, well, it wasn't like scary or anything, but it just shows you what it looks like here. I don't know where. I forgot where you were at. I'm gonna guess again. Don't tell me. You're in Bouncing Bike Life. You're not in Ohio, and you're not in Pennsylvania. God damn, I remember you told me where you were. I'm trying to remember before you tell me. For some of you who've never been here, yeah, it's I don't want to make it sound too bad because that might make somebody mad who lives here. So, but I don't like being here. I was saying that it's it's safe. I feel safer in other places in South America. So, but like right now, I'm in a little nice backyard again, and stayed in a crappy motel last night. I had to put that crappy Chinese sleeping bag on sorry, China, I'm just talking about your sleeping bag, and on that motel bed, and that was awful. So I got to wash that thing. I just touched it, so now I got to. But it's just dirty everywhere you go, man. Now I like dirt. I'm into dirt. I like camping in the dirt, but dirty motel rooms and shit. Colombia, I was saying the other night, the Colombian villas and villages and the cheap little places are way cleaner than any sort of Motel 6 in these nasty places here. And where I have been recently, it's just awful. And people live in them, and you go down to South America and the housekeepers are clean, man. They're the real deal. Everything's clean. Beds are tightly made, hospital corners, pow. Everything smells fresh and good, and you can touch things and not feel like you're going to get sick, Barrio mio, amigo. Excuse me. Losing my voice. Hello, everybody who's not talking. Give us a like. Oh, some people gave me likes. Thank you. Getting dark, Barrio mio. I've been here a while, but I'm glad you came by. Yeah, right on, man. Yeah, up here they just make it look clean. Right. Exactly. The hotels are good to see you too, Barrio mio. The hotels here are they don't even really try to make them look clean. Where I was just not too recently, but a month and a half ago, maybe two, up in Reno. Wow, man. And okay, Reno, you can get a nice motel and you can get a cheap one. You get down to Carson City and it's just rough. There's a prison right there. People are kind of living in the hotels and kind of maybe waiting for their brother to get out, or it's like a lot of stuff, or waiting to go back in, or it's just trashy. Sorry if you have to live that lifestyle. I understand. My life hasn't always been great, but that really bothers me, and it's just a low vibrational lifestyle. So yeah, just don't like it. Like I said, South America, I can find a nice cheap place to stay with a clean bed, and most of the time. 11 o'clock, yeah, yes, sir. I would rather camp too. Now listen, Bouncing Bike Life. I tried to do that 2 nights ago and I couldn't. Or no, last night. Gosh, it seems like a long day. It's been a long day. I tried to do that last night. If you watch that video, there's nowhere to stealth camp. Nowhere. I tried, and I'm a good stealth camper. I've bummed it in the middle of Medellin, but I got lucky. Every tree had a person sleeping under it. Every single tree. About this time, see, it's getting dark now, and about this time at night, people, you go out here even, and you find people are sleeping under, trees or behind, and it's like at nighttime, everybody's kind of coming out of the woodwork looking for a place to be, So it's trippy. It's an interesting. Excuse me. Hey, everybody who just showed up. It's getting dark here. Sorry about all the weird lighting and glare. And hey, let's take a look at the sky up there, California desert sky, and the fence. We're back in the zone here. And we got reflectors on the bike showing up here. So anyway, just rambling away about how crappy and dangerous it is. But it could be worse. I always say it can be worse, you know. And look at me, I'm clean. I just took a nice shower recently and feeling good. And yeah, it's getting harder everywhere. Uh, yeah, it isn't just here. Isn't that weird? I was just talking about taking the bus. Like here, sorry about the lighting, everybody. It's getting dark here in California. Here, I can't take a Greyhound bus, or there's no options. Uh, South America, man, I can jump on a bus, and there's tons of different. There's like 20 different types of buses, and you got the aircon bus, the luxury bus, and they're all cheap. That's like over in Thailand too. Here you got Greyhound bus, and man, it sucks. And you can try to make an adventure, but now like people smoking, they're smoking. My last Greyhound bus, there was a guy smoking whatever it was, meth or something, but it smelled on the bus. I was like this. I was smelling it, so I was actually consuming it. And yeah, it was nuts. That was the worst. And the bus driver didn't care. He didn't even know English. So Greyhound kind of contracted to this Flixbus thing, and they don't know. Most of their drivers are from Russia or China, and they don't know English, and they drop off people in dangerous places, young women. And they'll just drop them off where there's no bus station. They don't know. Oh no, and they won't take your bike most of the time. It's weird. I got stuck in the city, in down near in Riverside, California. They wouldn't take my bike on the bus. Amtrak wouldn't either because it was a bus. They don't do that anymore here. So be careful if you're doing any of that stuff, because it's a pain in the ass here in America. I love America, but I do not like the transportation. Hey, get a car. Sorry, lived with a car for years. Now I live in South America without a car most of the time, and I can do it here. It's just, it's made to not be friendly to you if you don't have a car. That's how the money's made. Anyway, so we won't get into all that stuff. Hey, thanks for coming, everybody, all 5 of you out there, because we only had Tony T. If you're gone, Tony, it was just me and Tony T, man. And we had a good conversation. I went over a whole bunch of stuff. It was light out here. Now it's getting dark. And it was the first time he'd been on. So thanks for coming on. If you guys are new, if anyone's new there, hit that like button. That way I know somebody just kind of surfaced from out there in cyberspace while I'm out here by the bicycle. And also subscribe if you're liking the stories. Check out the videos. Been releasing maybe too many, but I don't care because they're going to be there forever for people to watch. And like I said, YouTube's along with me, along for the ride. And I don't even look to see how many. I haven't had too many subscribers this last couple weeks, but I don't really watch too much. I just keep making videos that I feel like doing. So I think at some point somebody will go, oh God, I'm tired of looking at that guy, shut the door. And so, but someday you'll miss me, and because I won't be here every night. But thanks for coming over. And Tony T, hey. All right, man. Thanks, Tony. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go here soon too. It's not getting late here, but I've been trucking along through the desert since early this morning and got back here. So have a little laundry to do tonight still. Tony T, man, Toronto. Cheers. Another Rush fan on here, man. I am a big Rush fan from the past and still to this day. Neil Peart specifically, my writer and writer friend. Yeah, I made 2 new ones. You must be busy, Bartiomeo. You haven't heard from you in a while. I hope you've been filming some new videos and making some new music for us, because I've really enjoyed that a lot. Hey, now we got a bunch of people on. I can't leave, and it's getting dark out here. Hey, we're out here. We're still out here by the bicycle. It's nighttime, having a little Colombian coffee, and talking to. I was talking to Tony T, who's had to go to bed, and Bartiomeo, our musical director, and for our playlists on the road. And got the glare of the glasses going here, like anyway. But hey, man, if you're new here, give me a like there so I don't say the same things over and over. But I can just tell you I've been rambling about my trip through the desert last couple days. Nothing big, a couple weird little things, like normal. Lost a couple water bottles, guy stole from me. I remember the guy, and but also just talking about transportation here in America and what it's like, especially since I'm down here, where I kind of wished down here in the last couple of days that I'd rented a car. I mean, it was just crummy travel along that dirt road. It's just kind of a dirt pavement, a lot of trash and junk and furniture. Check out the video. There's just old furniture along the whole way, man. And it's pretty crazy. So, all right. Well, man, it's getting dark quick, guys. I might have to bail out of here. Please like and subscribe. Check out the videos. Gosh, there's a whole library of them now for you. And I don't think you can keep up with me. I've been making videos every day, but if you have been keeping up, that's pretty good, and I appreciate it. And but I think what'll happen is those videos are, for me, I look at it as kind of like while I have a memory still in my life before I knock my head on the next whatever. Those will all be in there, and people can listen to them and hopefully learn a little something or not. And but I sure appreciate you guys listening. Sorry, Bartiomeo, to cut it out so soon. Yeah, it gets dark earlier every day now. Winter's coming along, and that's when I'll be heading south, man. I like warm weather, not hot like this. So the geese are already crossing over me heading south from Alaska, man. They're already coming south. And I like that. It's like, well, it's time. I go with the geese, Cheers, everybody. Appreciate you coming over. For those of you that aren't talking to me, I really appreciate you just listening. I really do. And we'll get back at it. We'll get on here for another live. I might come on here again tomorrow night just because tonight was kind of quick. And I'll get in some light. I was thinking about doing one from in the tent, but it's too hot to do stuff like that. It's not time for the in the tent kind of stuff. So we'll stick with doing things outside. Cheers. Good night, everybody.